We have with us the elections agent for the PPPC, Mr. Ganga Persaud, in studio, and he'll be bringing us up to date with what has been going on, what is the present position, and so on. And you can give us a call on 231 9546, 231 9547 if you need some specific answers that maybe he can furnish us with. Mr. Persaud, and how are you this morning?
I am okay, and good morning to our listeners out there.
Okay, we have a couple days since elections have been completed. We have some results announced, and we are waiting the final outcome of those announcements. Could you tell us what is the PPP's position? We know that they have requested a recount. We still need to find out what is the position with that recount. What exactly is happening between GCOM and the PPPC?
Well, thank you so much, Raymond. And I think that all Guyana would be very interested in the responses to those questions. The first one is that we in the People's Progressive Party Civic Government, we want to thank all Guyanese for turning out and participating in the electoral process. But more specifically, we wish to express our profound thanks and gratitude to in excess of the 206,000 persons who have turned out and voted for the People's Progressive Party Civic. According to our records, we are ahead of the APNU AFC. That is our statement of poll 2,299. And why I think the elections result that we have is different from that of the Guyana Elections Commission. It is because garbage in, garbage out. If you use and input incorrect data, the computers can't correct it for you. You got to correct it for yourself because the error starts at a manual error. And so I think that's the predicament of the Guyana Elections Commission. They use falsified, doctored, so to speak, in Guyanese context, illegitimate statements of poll, and to compute and arrive at their results. There's so many things that went wrong, and it's so unfortunate that all of you Guyanese who turned up and voted, you were subjected to what I will say disenfranchisement, because you marked your X for the cup, but it was by somebody, some people, a group of people sitting in offices and transferring your votes by changing figures on a statement of poll. So what has happened in the ballot boxes, for sure, are your votes. They could not have changed that. They only change what is on the statement poll, the statement of poll. That's the record. And they're so scared now to allow us to go into those boxes, because if we do that, it will definitely put the lie on a number of entities and agencies. Look, Raymond, our people turned out and overwhelmingly voted for the People's Progressive Party. The elections were very close. The PPP would have won these elections. We would have won them because the people have voted for us in the majority. And Guyana invited a number of observers into this country, as we always do for every elections since the PPP took office. And the elections observers would have made certain statements and certain pronouncements. Much of them were premature because, for some reason, they saw what they wanted to see. They listened to what they wanted to hear. And they acted in a manner that they were prepared to act. Now, to find otherwise, to go into those ballot boxes and to find the truth, will question the integrity of these persons, of these organizations that they represent. That's straight talk. That's the fact. The Guyana Elections Commission, key players, to go into those boxes will reveal that Chairman Suraj Bali and his team at the Guyana Elections Commission were less than factual and truthful to this nation. That what they were actually doing, condoning for false pride and dignity, interfering in transparency and democracy to protect their own egos. They spoke too early, and they spoke too early. They called, which was wrong. So that's another grouping. The APNU AFC obviously got the figures right, unless they have doctored their statements of poll too. They know that they've lost to the People's Progressive Party. So to occupy the seat of government is occupying it through rigged, illegitimate means. So they too. So you got a number of stakeholders who, if the truth is to be used out there, the accuracy of the elections, if it was used out there, it will bring shame, embarrassment, and disgrace to a number of the groupings that I've just mentioned. And this is being very, very frank. I am no kid where elections management in Guyana is concerned. This is my my fourth elections with the People's Progressive Party as elections agent. I once held the position of Deputy Chief Elections Officer in this country. I held that position from 1994 right through to 2000. So that's a period. That's when democracy, when you thought that the system built in this country to allow for good, transparent, democratic elections would have chased away all the evils that surfaced once again on May 11, 2015. Sad, Raymond, very sad. So what has happened? People voted multiple. The ink in itself was a mockery and a joke. You had instances where you got, like, I would say, in one ballot box. I'm just using examples, Raymond. And this is not where Discipline Services ballots were mixed. The number of electors on that list is 172 people. 172 persons are authorized to vote at that polling station. That polling station had 253 people voted. All the ballots voted out in that polling station.
And more.
And more. And what kind of elections did this observer group that the Guyana Elections Commission and the APNUAFC talking about being free, fair, and transparent? Anywhere in the world, that one incident would be deemed as fraud, as illegitimate and illegal, and would warrant that strong action be taken against those bodies. Now, the Elections Commission here can't dispute this. They cannot dispute this. This is their record too.
So what are they saying? Are they not counting the boxes? They're not prepared. The chairman had said that based on the last discussion I had with the general secretary of the party, the chairman had said that he was prepared to open the 22 boxes that were identified.
Wonderful. Now that brought us in terms of what we have done. Apart from bringing to the nation's attention all these things. But if you allow me, Raymond, a few minutes more, then I will come to what action steps we have taken and what we intend to take. So that's a very good observation. I just shared that one with you. And another one, and these are all Region 4. And I should say to you, in that box, where listed electors were 172, people voted were 253. 241 of those ballots went to the APNUAFC. 241 votes out of 247 253 went to the APNUAFC from a ballot box that has a list to allow only 172 people to vote. Another one, Raymond. In Haruruni, at the all-age school there, the ballot box had a list of 124 voters. That is persons who were authorized to vote at that polling station. Region 4 again, 182 people voted at that station. 182. And you know what happened? The APNU AFC get 143 of them votes. The observers can't say they're naive to this. Guyana Elections Commission said they can't say they don't know of that. APNU AFC, Granger and Ramjatan Nagamutu, they can't say they are unaware of this. This is the fact. The PPP civic is not storytelling. and we can continue and we can go on, of where you have 147% people voted in an elections, 47% more than who
More.
were authorized to vote. 146 voted, 46% more than what were authorized to vote at the polling station.
I think
No one is out of the country from those two lists. No one has passed away. No one had anything to do in any other part of this country or any part of this world. You know, all persons were there and even more.
I
How
heard,
did such a presiding officer allow such things to
I
happen?
heard the chairman or someone from GCOM trying to explain it by saying that it was the persons who voted with certificates of employment.
My God, you're telling me that the Guyana Elections Commission had, let me do this math here, 172, take that out from 253, left you with 81. 81 Guyana Elections Commission people were at that polling station. Oh my, that chairman, really something is wrong with the math. Something is terribly wrong. This is the Nancy story that the Guyana Elections Commission has been trying to feed to this nation, thinking that the nation is illiterate. The Elections Commission has managed over a failed election. They have supervised a rigged election in this country on May 11, 2015. They sowed this seed before May 11, 2015. And there are a number of things we shared on this radio where they sowed this seed to do all these kinds of
And you're talking about them employing people who were
Yeah.
activists, who were known activists.
Look, we send that list to the chief elections officer. We send that list before elections day. We send that list on the Saturday before elections day. When we turn up to the various polling stations, we saw what was happening. We saw that a number of places where they were checking these ballot boxes, the people who were appointed were party activists. This is in GCOM's record itself too, because they had to be paying these people as scrutineers and as activists. They were paying them to scrutinize the various phases of elections representing this political party. So this is not hearsay. They have bungled this thing to get the PPP out of power. We send those things to the CEO. We delivered those documents to the CEO. So he can't say that he didn't know, and he had adequate time to make the adjustment with those people. Whether he did so, only time will tell. So you had those. And then, apart from that, the chairman of the Guyana Elections Commission committed to us, and Mr. Rohi was very correct, committed to us that he will do a number of things, but he meant really to do the opposite of them, you know. So having said all of that, what we would have done since then, when we recognized all these things that were happening,
So they have not counted, they have not acquiesced to recounting those boxes at the chairman.
but this is what we did. The first thing we did was to engage the Elections Commission on Elections Day. Numerous calls to the CEO informing him, and I must commend the goodly gentleman for taking all my calls whenever he could have, and for promising action, some of which I verified that he took. Calling him, informing him that persons were unauthorizedly, illegally claiming ballots and were granting ballots to vote. We sent emails to him, not only calling, but sent several emails to him documenting these instances, very specific. This is not hearsay. We give him name of persons, number on the voters list, who when they turn up, they were told, sorry, you don't vote already. There's a tick opposite your name. Real something we thought we get rid from the election process. That was something in the PNC days running elections. It's the same, no shame PNC disguising itself under AFC, APNU, because they brought the old tricks back in and the Elections Commission facilitated it. So what they did now, people, and they got to tell to the thousands of people out there, they got to tell those persons who turned up and were told, sorry, somebody voted for you. Or look, here is your ballot paper. Either knowingly or cunningly, they give the people tendered ballot paper to vote on. And that would not have been counted. So they got to tell that to the people. They got to convince the people. Suraj Bali and his team there at the Elections Commission will have to talk to the people. They will have to answer those things to the people. We brought those to their attention. As I said, we documented those things. You know, Raymond, we also sought to send those things to the International Observer Mission, who I think were too busy listening to what they wanted to hear and see what they wanted to see. And, didn't pay much attention to what we said. Some of them even dismissed those things as isolates. Many of our people would have lamented. So we took action. Our supporters must know your party, the People's Progressive Party, Civic, has not let you down. We ensure that every instance you brought to us, we've documented. We send that to the Guyana Elections Commission. We also sent it to the international observers. Then we had this same bit again, this nastiness now of people walking into polling stations, claiming ballots who don't look no way at all to the voters' portrait on the folio. And yet we objected, but yet the presiding officers granted them ballots. Here again, we documented those instances. We sent them through, but to no avail. Minister Manichan and her team, they had serious worries at Belladrum in Region 5, where one of our polling agents sat there, knowing that our neighbor was out of the country. Someone turned up, claimed that ballot. Our polling agent vehemently protested, walked up, took a photograph of the individual who was claiming the ballot. Sorry, that's another photograph she put. And they give that ballot. Then there came someone who claimed a ballot. The portrait was that of a member of the Rastafarian community, an old individual born in 1958. Well, not old, advanced in age, 1958. But there's a youngster that came there, claimed the ballot. Our polling agent protesting. If through the ballot our polling agent went up, I wish to commend that polling agent, took a photograph of the individual. We have sent that image to the Guyana Elections Commission too. All these are evidence these people talking about. So that's Elections Day. The worst nightmare came when we start analyzing our results. When we analyze our results, we felt so comfortable. We wanted to go out there and to hug up all Guyana and say thank you for giving us this opportunity to continue to serve you as servants in the government. Lo and behold, to our surprise, while we sit down waiting on the returning officers to call our assistant agents to sit and go through the broadsheet and tabulate these things, the chief elections officer, under pressure, was on national television announcing preliminary results without talking with the ROs and the AEAs, our assistant elections agent. And the APNU, AFC can verify that, unless they had chambers meeting and we were not invited. They can determine that no region had completed or started, not even completed, started this requirement in law to sit with the assistant elections agent in each electoral district and go through the box-by-box result, comparing the statements of poll. They didn't do that before the preliminary result. That's the reason why the thing is flawed. That's the reason why today's paper, all the small parties are complaining. The only party that is not complaining about this incorrect results given by the Guyana Elections Commission is the APNUAFC, because they seem to be heading to occupy the seat of government from a rigged election. So that's what they seem to be. All the other parties, and this is not the People's Progressive Party, Civic alone, all the others have spoken very vehemently that the results declared by the Elections Commission, by the CEO, was incorrect, premature, and didn't reflect what they have on their statement of poll. Mischief. So what they did, they created a climate in this country, pushed on by those who ought to have come here to maintain our democracy and protect our transparency in the electoral process. And they made this big disclosure. When they did that, they carried up the expectations and hope of a wide section of the Guyanese society. Who will go tell these people now they have lost the elections, as the CEO has done in Region 8? He announced that the APNU has won that region, regionally. 89 votes they misappropriated for the PPP. Who will go tell that region now, sorry, you all are bad losers? All the celebration that you all did wasn't right because the CEO misled under the pressure of the chairman of the commission, misled this nation, misled the people of Region 8. So these are the difficulties. So because of all of that, we engaged the Elections Commission. The GS took us. We met with the commission. We sat with the chairman and we explained all these things. That things not going right. The APNU AFC have hijacked the boxes on the East Coast corridor. The chairman was calling us to get our involvement in it. We went, we said very clearly, it's not our call. The people who want to run this country are bullying everybody else in this country. So you deal with them and deal with the country. So we did that. We engaged the international community, as I said. We consistently did that. The big bit came, Raymond. Well, I should back a little. The CEO made some statements on Tuesday evening. When he made those statements, he caught us all surprised. He said that he has recognized that there are some fake statements of poll in his set of statement of polls. Well, obviously, those things didn't walk and get there. The fake statements of poll weren't sent there by the People's Progressive Party. The fake statements of poll didn't reflect votes in favor of the People's Progressive Party. It actually stole from the People's Progressive Party. So we thought the CEO was heading into a very professional mode, and we commended him for the disclosure. And so then we start waiting now anxiously because we hadn't a comparator. We know this statement of poll that we got. We said this is the authentic, correct statement of poll. Nobody will try to do fraud on it. Nobody will try to change things on it. But we were shocked. When we turn up now, on Wednesday, I think it was. Today is what, Saturday?
Today is Saturday.
On Thursday we were invited by the returning officer, region number 4, and all the other returning officers across this country to start doing our verification. Well, some started on Wednesday. Sorry, let me correct that. When we were going through with our records of the statements of poll and what they were giving us, we saw systematic bit of stealing in bundles of 10. Bundles of 10. So you don't have to interfere with the bottom figure. Mm-hmm. You're taking vote from the PPP and you're giving it to the APNU. Where the PPP got 267, you change the 6 into 0. Where the APNU got 21, you added those 60 votes that you took out from the PPP, change the 21, the 2 into 8 and make it 81. So systematically, these people have done this thing. We carried, led by our president, we carried those things to the Elections Commission, the entire commission. And our president met with them. And we said to Dr. Suraj Bali and his team, we share that with all the international observers. We give to all the media houses. They can verify these things. We give them copies of our statements of poll. So there's no secret. Mm-hmm. There's no hanky-panky story like what the Elections Commission, supported by some of the international observers, trying to do. No hanky-panky with us.
So very the media clear. Houses,
yes.
They
have that. They can double-check that anytime. Now, when we did that, our Excellency, his president, said to Dr. Suraj Bali, man, in the interest, we don't want to delay any elections. We don't want to delay this country. We don't want to stagnate this country. Just check any one of these boxes here. Call the international observers, call the political parties. You open it here at GCOM and check our statement of poll in comparison to the number of ballots in that boxes as per party. And that will tell you who is right from who is wrong. The chairman said, no, man, you all don't matter one. We're going to check all. That's the assurance. We left very upbeat, only to come back and start receiving from all the regions out there a letter from the returning officer saying to us our requests for recount were not granted.
After they had agreed to count these 22 boxes?
Yes, after they had agreed. The commission told us they will get back to us. They haven't gotten back to us yet. We're still waiting on them. But we are seeing all sorts of things. They're moving to announce results. The worst traversy was at Georgetown, the RO for Region 4. We went to the RO's office and we were going through. We found them, as I said, this box, 267 votes for the PPP on our statement of poll, signed by all these officials. The same signatures that she got on hers. And 21 for the APNU. And on her statement of poll, change is 81 for the APNU and 207 for us. And we have a litany, several of those. As I said, we took it to the commission. The returning officer completed that exercise after midnight on Friday morning and then said to us, come back at 9 o'clock Friday morning. She going to make some decision. She going to talk with her corporate secretary. She going to talk with her lawyers and she going to talk with the CEO. Never did she say to us, walk with any documents. We went back. And then the returning officer will say to us, y'all brought your statement of poll. Our people said no, but we got them at the party office if you want them. She said, well, sorry, in the absence of any proof, I have to declare the results. You know what she declared? She declared those results which says 81 for the APNU and 207 for the PPP. How then can the Elections Commission, the international observers who got all these documents, whom we have spoken at nauseam with, this party has met every mission, observer mission in this country, post May 11, 2015, highlighting to them and providing evidence and facts with regards to all these things. So we want our supporters out there to know that your party has been working overtime on overdrive, bringing Guyana's situation to all and sundry. The private sector commission, all the other agencies in this country, all major stakeholders, we have been doing that. We are not getting the headway that we could. We were advised to proceed to the courts. We are doing that. We are going that way. Having said all of that then, we wish as a party to advise our supporters out there. Truth and justice will prevail. We are on a moral high ground. We are the political party that has stood up to enhance, to maintain, to support democracy and transparency in our elections. May 11th was a sad day for all of us because that democracy and transparency was trodden on. We want to assure you that the People's Progressive Party is a responsible party and has been so for over the past 65 years. We will continue to be responsible. We will never seek to occupy the seat of government illegitimately. We will never seek to occupy seat of government from rigged elections, crooked elections. We have fought very hard for democracy and transparency in this country. And I think that a lot of people who have made pronouncement on these elections, a lot of people who are putting pressure on the People's Progressive Party Civic, are actually saying to this People's Progressive Party Civic, saying to General Secretary Rohi, saying to President Donald Ramatar, you all accept rigging as part of Guyana's culture. We're not prepared to do that. We will go to the court. We will continue to fight this battle to the end. But we are doing it in a decent way. We're not driving around and showing middle finger on people. We're not spitting on people. We're not terrorizing people. We're not calling people names as we move around and say we're celebrating victory. We're not going to occupy people land and squat on people land and so on and so on. We don't do those nonsense. We are a disciplined party. Our supporters are well disciplined. To you, our supporters out there, for the past couple of days, I have taken thousands of calls from all of you. Our leaders have done the same thing too. Where you're making all sorts of very insightful suggestions, recommendations, and proposals to us. We have noted them. We value your comments, your guidance. We love you and we will continue to love you. But we say to all of us, let us love Guyana too. The truth will prevail. Democracy will stand out. With time, the People's Progressive Party will cause those who have pronounced that these elections were free and fair they will duck their heads in shame because the truth will come. You know it already. You have the facts there. We want our nation to remain calm, to be peace loving people as we are. Don't be intimidated. The Creator is there. And I'm saying to all of us, let us, good comrades, good Guyanese, my good brothers and sisters, we have been cheated. We have spent all our energies and our time to say to every individual, every stakeholder group, that these are the irregularities. And these have impacted significantly on putting the losers as winners and removing the winners and put them as losers. But time will tell. Time will tell. Those who occupy power by deceit and by cheating will certainly not win the confidence of this nation. The Elections Commission, starting from the chairman, must be ashamed of themselves, must be ashamed of themselves for allowing what took place. I heard all sorts of rhetoric coming from the CEO that the correct statements of poll were used to input these results. Well, how suddenly? Fraudulent statement of poll got wings and feet and flew out, and the correct statements of poll came in to replace them. These seem to be magic, real magic at the Guyana Elections Commission.
The question I want to ask is that there is a report that President Ramatar had called Brigadier Granger sometime during Friday. Did he at any time discuss the possibility of a recount? Because I'm certain that Mr. Granger would not want to occupy an office if he was put there by fraud.
Well, that's a good bit. Our president, an honorable man, a man who stood by his word at all times, his commitment to this nation he's never faltered on, Comrade Donald Ramatar, would have leave no stone unturned in trying to get to the facts and bottom of this thing. Because our president has no intention at all to hold on to power if he has lost it in a transparent democratic elections. Sad to say that wasn't so. And so, yes, certainly, His Excellency would have engaged all stakeholders, including Granger. But some people are so hungry and thirsty for power that they will even close their eyes by legal means. And, you don't teach old dog, new tricks. If you're accustomed to be part of a rigging environment, then it's normal for you. And so rigging becomes a natural part of your existence. So I think that's the story. But what bothers us are some of the people who complain bitterly of rigging are now on the side where rigging has actually taken place. The populace will deal with these people in their own way. We say to them, get on with our lives. We are progressive people. We have always been progressive. And so to all our supporters out there, what I can say to you is that you have trusted us many times, all times, to do what is right in the interest of all of us as Guyanese, in the interest of our country. And so we ask you to continue to trust us and believe in us that in order to get justice, to maintain our democratic electoral gains with regards to transparency, trust us that we will take the actions and follow the legal parameters in ensuring that elections May 11, 2015, that those elections results will be made public. Just before I close, Raymond, we met with a group, their commitment. In 2011, I think in 2011, the APNU then were creating mayhem, making all sorts of allegations and accusations. That, you know what? The statements of poll used by the Guyana Elections Commission was the wrong one. You know what the commission did? Quickly, by internal groups and internal pressure, they copy all those statements of poll, put them on a CD, and send them to all political parties. We here are saying that they use fake statement of poll. If the CEO is saying to this nation that he used the correct statement of poll for putty results. Send us those things. Send us. Put on your website box by box declaration to this nation. Let the people see, because people have checked those statements of poll that were posted outside of the polling
And
station.
there are photographs all over the place of the
and
statements.
people got them. So they know this. If you have run a clean elections, Mr. Surge Bali and Mr. Lowenfield, then do what is right. Post those statements of poll out there. Put them on the public media. Put them out there. And then you're going to see how quickly people going to tell you. Because when you put them out there, people going to do the math. They're going to add them up. And they're going to tell you that what you call 113 votes for a political party in region number 4 cannot be more than 105,000. And what you give to the PPP, 70,000, cannot be that. Has to be far more than that. So this is the core of the matter. These people got the information. They're hiding it from the nation. And Dr. Suraj Bali and his team there seem to be playing a hide-and-seek game with this nation. And I say to you, when we were little boys and girls and we playing hide-and-seek, you just get caught. You just get caught. And my mother always said to me, moon does run till they catch 'em. The people in this nation will definitely exercise their patience, their tolerance, their goodwill, and they will continuously look and support the People's Progressive Party Civic as we seek to approach the court, as we move through to get to the bottom of the true results of elections May 11, 2015.
The question will be asked now. Obviously, you have evidence, and you will be taking it to the courts. But what can the courts do after? Because based on what I understand, the GCOM is set to announce the final results at midday today, and possibly have the swearing in of Granger as president at about 1 o'clock, based on what I'm being told.
Well,
What can the courts do after that has already been done?
Raymond, thank you very much. Unfortunately, I don't understand these legal bits and things, right? But I think it's a very, very good question. I think all Guyana would anxiously await the response to that question. Unfortunately, I can't really give you that because I don't know what are the possibilities. All right, our legal team would be better poised to respond to those. That, but what we see this sense of the Guyana Elections Commission is bent on moving forward, declaring the fake, rigged results. There isn't anything that can prevent them because they have a vehicle packed with a lot of countries in this country who feel that the PPP civic has stayed too long in government and they really want to get rid of us. But more so, they want to save face. It's face saving because a lot of these organizations, if you get into that ballot box, and once we get into that, it will prove that they were less than thorough, that they called the elections free and fair, which was actually padded, which was actually rigged, which was actually fraudulent. That will, you can imagine what it will do to them on the international scene.
But the courts can order that the ballot boxes be open.
I think so.
And because that is the whole reason for keeping the ballot boxes after the election and for sealing everything in the box.
I guess so, Raymond. Yes, I guess so. I think that's a distinct possibility. But I will check with our legal people. All right? So I'm saying, my brothers and sisters, you went out there, you voted, you did well, you gave us the majority. Unfortunately, the Guyana Elections Commission, through its own manipulation, staff level and otherwise, have not caused your majority to be reflected, and we will not sleep until we would have gotten the truth out on the fore. We urge you, stay with your quiet life. Don't get involved. Don't get enraged. Avoid conflicts. Bullies don't remain bullies for long. All right? Don't allow people to intimidate you and to bully you. We know of all the kinds of things that have happened over the past couple of days. Many of you have done well to document some of these things. You've captured them. You've also sent us photographs of people who were presiding officers for your polling stations. And you saw them hugging up and donning in AFC, AP, and New Jerseys and wearing bandana and so on. One was published in the Kaicho News and so on yesterday. So you've sent us all of those things. We have sent it, we've given legs to those things. We will continue to send them to Chairman Suraj Bali at the Guyana Elections Commission and to the CEO. To what end? We're not sure. But we will do our job. You, our supporters, we will continue to make sure that we bring to the attention of everyone all that you have brought to us, where politicians were presiding officers and those who were not politicians show their shoe colors in what they call celebration of rigged gain victory. All right? So, Raymond, I don't know.
What you've shared with us is truly interesting, and I guess that the entire nation not only would be sitting, holding their breath to see what the court, what will be the outcome of the court battle. But what is the position? I don't know if you can tell us what is the position of the party with the declaration and the swearing-in of Granger, which is scheduled sometime for today. What is the party's position?
But that's a good question, Raymond. It's an unfortunate haste because, as His Excellency said, checking one of those ballot boxes would not take you more than, let me say, half of an hour. Just check one. And it will say to the Elections Commission, listen, you have devil in these boxes. Just check one. And they will conclude right away. And that will tell them, no. We can't run with the declaration of this thing and swearing in anybody. Because if we do so, it will be illegal. We are swearing in the wrong person. We are giving victory to the wrong party.
And that is what they're refusing to do.
The Elections Commission is hell-bent on not going down that route. And as I said, if they go down that route, it will also embarrass all these, what you call, high-status persons, persons from the diplomatic community who came out and embraced this rigged elections as being a free and transparent elections. Organizations that would have been looking at elections across this globe, countries will not want to take their reports because they take it with a pinch of salt that you supervise over rigged elections in Guyana and you call it free and fair. People will be afraid. Governments will be afraid. And so all that is at stake here. That's the reason why they're pushing the Elections Commission. Go, make your declaration, and then telling us, go to the courts and see the legal means. When the Elections Commission legally is empowered to grant us recount under Section 84 of the Representation of the People Act. We've done all that they wanted to do. When we apply for the first set, and I tell you something, Raymond, when you look at region number 8, I'm just giving you a little example here. My heart goes out to the comrades in region 8. I want to thank you all. I want to big you all up for giving us your vote. You know what the call is? One vote, 1837 for the APNU, 1836 for the PPP Civic. One vote separates those two parties from claiming a geographical seat in the National Assembly. One vote. We requested 5 boxes to be recounted because we were told by our polling agents that persons marked the X in the cup and those ballots were rejected. So we said, all right, let us do this 5. We were denied that request. The CEO instructed the RO, and they're talking about people being independent. Nobody in independent that is commission chief. From the chairman right down, they're an independent.
Yeah, from the
they all got somebody dictating to them what to do. And so we didn't get that. We didn't get that recount until now. We wrote asking them, if you don't want to give us these 5 boxes, give us all the boxes. We didn't get that either. So this is the Elections Commission is talking about transparency and democracy.
But sometime during the week, I think I heard the CEO saying that they had acquiesced to some requests for recounts and that nothing had changed.
That's not truthful because the CEO referred to a recount in Region 1, which never happened, which never took place. We wrote to the CEO, the assistant elections agent, wrote to CEO Lowenfield, said, sir, this is far from the truth. No recount took place in Region 1. So these people are looking at all sorts of diversion tactics and body of information to mislead this nation. A propaganda that is unacceptable, undesirable, coming from a commission. One can understand that coming from a political party. But it seems as if now the Elections Commission has gone apolitical. You know? And I say this. Worse yet happened to the people in Region 8, as I said earlier. We won the regional by 89 votes. Regional by 89 votes. That's Region 8, the RDC. The CEO in his preliminary declaration awarded that region to the APNUAFC. Can you imagine what's happening in this country? And the chairman, Suraj Bali, talking about transparency and above board and accuracy. Rhetoric. Even though
the results show, their results show.
Yeah, this is verified. This result, you're making a good point. We have this signed by the returning officer that these results are the true and correct results, box by box, that he went through with the PPPC polling agent and the APNU AFC agent simultaneously. This is not nothing in secret. This is the procedure. And emanating from that are the corrected signed copy of the results which we got. Yet the CEO is telling us that he has inputted into his database authentic statement of poll. How then on God's earth can that happen? Mr. Suraj Bali and the CEO need to talk to this nation. They need to tell us. How then can that happen if you were not dealing with fake statement of poll? How is it those statements of poll differ from what the RO has, which is similar to what, identical to what the PPP had, and identical to what the APNU AFC had at the verification? Only the CEO one differ. It means, therefore, the CEO description of what is not fake doesn't fit the true word, the meaning of the word fake. You know? So these are mind-boggling things. We have informed this population. We have given all this information around. Yet you have this community, observer community, saying nothing is wrong with that.
No, but what I find strange is that the media houses who have always cried about fair play and fairness, they have been provided with this information.
Exactly.
And they're not.
It doesn't suit their wavelength. They're like the observers. It doesn't fit what they want to hear. It doesn't fit what they want to see. And it doesn't fit what they want to talk about. So, in the interest of stymieing democracy and transparency, they zip themselves up. They're mouthing things that are irrelevant. Let the CEO tell this nation, let Dr. Suraj Bali tell this nation that what we are saying in Region 8 is incorrect. You know? Let them say that. Let them say to us that the boxes which we have found, they have changed and manipulated the statement of poll, that's not truthful. Let them tell this nation that. Don't stay in rhetoric, hide under generality. The Guyanese people are not that stupid. And those who are seeking to swear in and to accede to office, this nation will remember that you haven't won. You have been manipulated into power. You know?
But then we're now entering another period of some serious times in this country.
Yeah, because if you get support from the Elections Commission to rig you into power when you were out of power, well, I don't know who will stop you from rigging yourself into power, remaining into power. And that is something that we need to be very careful about in this country. Because we have experienced it. And those from the ABC countries and so on, they were key players that caused that difficulty and make us suffer for 28 years. The history is repeating itself. It is repeating itself. The players might be different in terms of personality, but it is repeating itself. And Guyana will not sit idly by. The People's Progressive Party Civic, in a mature and responsible way, will take these issues to the highest level. So we say to our populace out there, we say to our brothers and sisters, our supporters, do not take anything into your own hands. Leave it to your party. Trust us that we will do the right thing. Believe in us that the truth will come to fore someday. Yes, might throw our country back. It has slapped democracy and give it a kick down back, electoral democracy and transparency. But all is not lost. The pride and dignity of our people in our election system has been pinched, it's been hurt. But God's willing, these things will be restored. And I do hope, that members of the Guyana Elections Commission, that the chairman, Dr. Suraj Bali, that the CEO and all his staff have had an opportunity to listen to what we've just said, and that those who observe our elections can come on here and rather than saying elections were free and fair and they found no evidence, let them tell us that the evidence that we have are fabricated. Let them tell us that. Let them show us. Let us give proof. As we are giving numbers and we give him boxes, let them come out and say to this nation, listen, the PPP said this for this box, but that's wrong. This is the truth. Let them come out and do that. Let them stop believe that we are people who are stupid, you know. So with that then, Raymond, I think that as elections agents of the People's Progressive Party, I'm happy that our party has run a very decent, successful campaign because it brought us victory. It brought us what we were looking for. It is unfortunate, however, that that victory was snatched from us. Snatched from us through administrative procedural bungling by the Guyana Elections Commission, condoned by those who observed our elections. I am hurt. I am pained. I am sorry that we have to repeat things in our elections that existed before 1992. I thought that we would have come a far way, moving away from those distasteful things. But they've repeated themselves, you know, and we'll have to deal with that new reality. Thank you very much, Raymond. To our listeners out there, I thank you very much for listening to us. And as you get on with your life, we wish that God's richest blessings will give you the strength and energy to continue to work to maintaining and sustaining the democracy in our country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Persaud. I hope that we will be talking as the days go by, because there are lots of other things that will be developing that we will need to bring to the fore. And in light of the fact that some people seem to have been quieted by the injustices, we may very well have to ensure that these things come out and people know what is happening.
Wonderful, Raymond. And I think I want to assure our supporters, we will continue to use Freedom Radio and to highlight this transgression. Somebody will listen. Dr. Jagan struggled for 28 years talking about all these things, all these atrocities, all these wickedness. You know what? Somebody listened. And when somebody listened, democracy was restored to this land. Today, democracy will be snatched from us. But somebody will listen. Somebody will listen. Those who have presided over our elections now and have given it that clean bill of health, they haven't listened. They haven't listened.